Yo, 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 what it do? What it be, y'all? It's your boy, Agent ANT, coming to y'all with some Modern Warfare 3 gameplay. Actually, is Modern Warfare 3, that's crazy. Just some regular Modern Warfare gameplay today. Oh, it's been a minute, I guess. This is just some old ass footage, I guess. But today we're gonna be touching on another, conspiracy of history, one of history's conspiracies, whichever way you want it. And this is kind of like a broader conspiracy theory. It's even, some would call it like a mystery of life. And so before I get into the evidence or lack thereof of us living in a simulation, in my personal opinion, this theory I have my doubts about it, but at the same time, I can kind of see the evidence of it. Like, my main hangups about the whole simulation theory is the fact that we've found evidence of alternate universes. And the fact that, since humans have started building societies, and even before then, really, we've been able to observe outer space. Like, we've been able to track the sun, constellations, other galaxies, and even other planets. So, in my opinion, if this is all just one big simulation, whoever built or developed this simulation is part of some advanced species, because they literally created an infinite expanding universe. And, it has infinite possibilities of life. And to let alone develop something of that magnitude on top of everything we see in our reality, it's incomprehensible to me to create, for this to be not real, quote unquote, so I just can't even fathom having that kind of technology or even genius at your disposal, so to speak, but I'm a gamer, so I can kind of grasp the concept of virtual reality. And, like game developers like CD Projekt Red and Rockstar can create realistic looking worlds, but every character in game is set up by developers. Every character is voiced from a real person. You don't see characters get old or give birth. NPCs, for the most part, are just kind of there. They don't really, they're stagnant. Turn on Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas right now, you got the same quotes being, they don't adapt or, get smarter. Their said lines are there forever. It's not ever going to change. That doesn't, obviously, it doesn't happen here. People get old, they die, they give birth, they change their appearance, they grow, obviously, but like, imagine we are the AI, and that, like, we're so advanced, obviously, that we can adapt and evolve over centuries and procreate and learn a language and even create. We've created Sims themselves. I mean, granted, in more of a arcade video game like structure, which doesn't really emulate real life. I mean, it emulates some aspects of it, but I mean, it doesn't, simulate literally everything. It doesn't simulate life itself. So, you can't go into The Sims and be like, oh, like, these guys, they learned a new language today and they built a city and shit. Like, they don't do that. So, but one thing is, if you believe that we've faked the moon landing, or if you don't believe that, the universe is infinite, or we're in a flat earth, or you just believe something outside of mainstream science that's pretty much been proven, then this theory will kind of benefit your perspective in a sense. It's more likely for you to believe that, this is all just one big, simulation, or, this is all, just a game somewhere. If you think that, this is it. There is no other planes of reality, there is no heaven, hell, there's nothing else after this, and there's nothing else beyond this earth or plane of existence. So, if this were a simulation, then sure, when you die, sure, I think you respawn or something like that. That's how most simulations are. It's very, unless it's like Fallout, you kill like an NPC and they're gone, or, a main NPC and they're gone forever, can't complete the quest for them, RPG type shit. It'd be crazy to think about, but, well, and that's kind of something that does, okay, you kind of have to have a really open mind or even kind of reject modern science to kind of fully grasp this, but that's just one kind of example of a simulation per se. Or maybe we're in a different kind of simulation, or even an experiment, if you will. An experiment simulation. Weird. That's weirder that saying it. But yeah, it's definitely a weird concept. But this, like I said, it holds even more weight if you reject some of the modern science's basic, teachings. But don't let my skepticism fool you, though. In my opinion, I think it's more likely that this is all a simulated reality than there being like a magical, all-knowing being in the sky that's like waiting on the right time to fix this shithole that he kind of had a hand in creating. But that's just me. But let's get into the facts of the theory. The theory that reality is an illusion has been theorized and referenced by bro, I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm so sorry, y'all. Huangzi, Mayan philosophers, Anazarchus, and Monimus in ancient Greece believed our perceptions came from our own dreams and our own craziness, which actually kind of an interesting take. Might hold a little bit more water than first glance. But the most recent theory that captured the minds of scientists and conspiracy theorists alike comes from Nick Bostrom. And in 2003, Nick Bostrom proposed a trilemma, which, being in a dilemma or a dilemma, is always bad. But imagine being in a trilemma or a trilemma. Is that? I don't know. But according to Nick, we're all theoretically possibly in one. So I'm going to kind of break it down in layman's terms, because according to Bostrom, one of three of these are certainly possible. And certainly possible in like from switched over converted from scientific to layman's terms is like it's a 70% chance. I know it's 1 in 3, and that means it's certainly possible, and that 70% chance. Those numbers do not add up, but welcome to science, guys. And this is why I didn't finish high school. Anyways, but yeah, in science terms, when something's like a 70% chance with those weird numbers, it's pretty much kind of a sure thing. Scientists like to ride the fence, I've noticed, after, kind of reading this and, doing this out loud. Because some of this is coming from, like, straight from, like, scientific sources and shit, like, online. Anyways, so, like I said, in layman's terms, 70% chance and all that. CIA scientists have even studied this, and I'll get into their findings in just a second. But basically, Nick Bostrom suggested one of these things are possible, or one of three of these things are possible. We aren't living in a simulation, and humans will go extinct before reaching capabilities to run simulations based on ancestral or even postmodern tendencies, which pretty much means that, like, we aren't in a simulation. Like, there's no interest in one. We don't have the technology. We don't have the interest. We don't just have the fun. It's not there. Or we're living in a simulation, and everything we're experiencing is just a simulation. And we've even if we've had the means to to run simulations, like the funding, the technology, and the capabilities of, you know, history, or, you know, what could possibly happen in the future, or, you know, even past simulations or something like that. Maybe we don't have any interest in exploring those simulations. Like, you know, maybe we don't see the necessity for them, or the practicality of running maybe a futuristic simulation or a past simulation, because there's just so many variables. You know, that kind of technology is so far down the line. It's almost like going to another planet, almost like literally going to another planet, or even another dimension, would basically be, you know, that would be as tough as creating a simulation with every variable that we have in life, because even the variables that we have in life are constantly changing. So you'd have to constantly change that simulation, unless you just stick it at a certain point, you know, and be like, okay, well, we'll start from here and just kind of see how the AI adapts. You know, we'll sprinkle some shit in here and there. It's like, but how would you know that, you know, the other simulation doesn't figure out their simulation? Or, you know, what if you're not the original simulation? It's like Simception, which I'll get to in a second. But, yeah, so either we are in a sim, either we aren't, or we would, you know, have the technology for a sim, but we wouldn't, you know, have the, you know, we wouldn't care to run one anyways. Which, I guess it's kind of like a red herring. It doesn't seem like that kind of option is even like a variable, really. Like, okay, so if we have the technology and we don't run it, wouldn't it be the same as, you know, not running? We wouldn't be in a simulation at all. Or maybe we're the break in the chain of the Simception. You know, we're just, you know, like, oh, I think we're good on this. We don't need this. And it just stops with us. Who knows? I probably won't be here to find out. Because that's fucking hundreds of years of, you know, futuristic technology. And it, like I said, even the reality that we see around us, for it to be just like a sim, is just like incomprehensible, the kind of technology it would take. But again, if you don't believe that there's like a whole infinite galaxy out there, I guess it would be easier to comprehend. But like me, I'm believing in space, galaxies, shit like that, constantly moving and expanding. And for someone to create something of that magnitude, that is fucking wild. But according to Bostrom, though, there is no right answer. But one of three of those scenarios are highly possible. And since 2003, scientists, conspiracy theorists, skeptics, and even comedians have grappled with the concept that we are living in a simulation or a matrix, which is a reference to the famous cult-followed movie Keanu Reeves starred in. Can't even talk today. But they also, you know, that movie also created the whole red and blue pill conspiracy theorists always reference in, obviously, conspiracy theorist communities. Like, oh man, you're so red pilled, man, or you need to take the blue pill, or you taking the blue pill too. I don't know, man. But yeah, the Matrix was really like ahead of its time. The original Matrix, at least. I can't say the same thing for like the sequels and shit like that. We won't get into that, but like the original Matrix came out in 1999, and Bostrom's theory wasn't even published till 2003. And since the movie came out and the theory was published within, you know, 5-year span of itself, it's like it's been a hot topic among everyone, from scientists to conspiracy theorists. I'm a gamer. I think the shit is interesting. Even the CIA, as I referenced earlier, the CIA released documents pretty much saying that there is a chance our reality is an illusion or simulation. And again, let me just, you know, I'll get into that in a second, but there's an article by the Scientific American that I kind of foreshadowed this earlier. It theorizes that it's a 50-50 chance we're in a simulation instead of just 33, as proposed by Bostrom's trilemma. The Scientific American basically proposed that since 2 out of 3 of the solutions of the trilemma basically end in the fact that we don't live in a simulation, well, I guess one of them doesn't really say that we don't end in a simulation. I guess it's kind of like you're just, if you're saying that we have the means and technology to build a simulation and we don't, that means that we're not living in a simulation. That's not really the case, is it? That's not really proving that we don't or do. It's just what it is. Kind of an interesting theory. Damn, it cut out. Damn, y'all see that, bro? I'm low-key hurt. I was about to get my execution on. Hurt. I think this is my first ever dub in free-for-all, too. Low-key, I was going fucking in. I even came back, too. I was down 3. I don't even know if bro quit or not. And I just kind of got it by proxy. But it's a first dub in free-for-all. I don't even really play free-for-all like that, but I was having fun. No cap. But, anyways, let me get back on topic. Where was I? Like I say, the CIA released documents and all that, but the Scientific American pretty much broke it down like, hey, instead of 33%, we might be 50-50, because if we had the means and the technology to run a simulation, but we didn't, wouldn't that mean that we're not in one? Which is not necessarily true. That's a big, like, what would it be called? Like, it's a big, what does it mean when you kind of, like, jump the gun on something? I cannot think of words today. Man, this is going to kill me. When you kind of, assume. That's a big assumption. Jesus Christ, you guys. I gotta take a break after this. But, sorry. But the Scientific American basically said it's a 50-50 chance, which, again, they kind of made an assumption with saying that. But, again, I mean, anything to make it, kind of easier. Break the dilemma down to a the trilemma down to a dilemma or a dilemma, however you say it. But, and kind of as I alluded to before, the CIA recently released documents from these studies that they conducted in the 80s called the Gateway Process. And I could probably do a whole video on the Gateway process, whatever it's called. But in short, the CIA ran experiments to see how the human brain processed information and how we perceive our physical reality in a scientific sense. And I think, from what I've heard, they only studied like a couple people, not even like a couple hundred, but it was literally only like a few. And again, we're all individuals. I think we all kind of process information and other shit differently. So, I mean, maybe they probably could have tested more people because, of course, in science, the more tests you run, the more accurate data you'll probably have. But, I don't really know how many people they tested exactly or by name or whatever, but they kind of made some reality-bending conclusions, and they discovered that the Earth is basically one big energy field. And here's where kind of shit gets kind of sciencey, and I might fuck up some explanations, so I'm sorry for all you science geeks out there. I apologize in advance. But we basically live in one big energy field called Earth. Not in the sense that we're in one big matrix or illusion or simulation, but matter in its most basic form is energy. Our cells and everything around us has energy, and how fast or how slow those cells or atoms are moving kind of determine, the kind of state of matter it is. Like the best way I can put it is in the 3 states of matter. There, solid, liquid, gas. Well, I mean, there's plasma, but to be real, I didn't pass all my science classes. Like I said, I didn't graduate and shit. But from what I remember learning about matter in school, it's that the 3 states of matter are dependent on how close together atoms are. But actually, the 3 states of matter are just variances in states of energy and human consciousness. human consciousness is kind of like the threshold to perceive these states and create the reality and physical realm we see every day. So, like, the CIA discovered that in certain situations, it's possible for the human mind to transcend into a state of deep relaxation, and their consciousness can travel through the confines of time and space on some metaphysical astral projection type shit. At least, that's my, like, rough, terrible understanding of it, you know? Again, science and math aren't really my strong suit, so I encourage y'all to kind of look this stuff up on your own. Y'all might have a better grasp or a handle on it than I do by reading it for yourself. So before I conclude, let me just say that from what I've read, the CIA was on some like crazy futuristic shit back in the day, and I know their funding maybe, isn't what it used to be, but we in 2021, finding shit out about the CIA they did way back in the day. I can only imagine in like 20, 50 years the shit they're going to declassify. Wouldn't be surprised if we got like a secret military base on Mars or a city in the clouds for billionaires or something. I don't know. But as far as, as I believe we live, like, if I believe we live in a hyper, complicated simulation, or we're all in one big Matrix-like scenario, I personally don't. I don't buy into it 100%. The CIA's Gateway Project pretty much confirms that under the right circumstances, humans can astral project. Like, thus, theoretically, if someone mastered astral projecting, they could, like, possibly metaphysically leave Earth and leave and see outer space, or even travel to another dimension. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I talked about earlier, very respected scientist. He makes a great point in this that humans are, like I said, he made the point that, maybe we're just, going through updates whenever we, go through different eras or whatever. So he's a very respected scientist, and he made another great point that humans are pretty much creating simulations right now. Like I said, The Sims, City Builder, fucking Age of Empires, fucking, what is it called? City Builder, right? Yeah, shit like that. Civilization, shit like that. So, I mean, it's not like we're not, like, creating shit, but I don't think they're taking, it's more of like a gaming kind of, how much fun can someone have, or, is someone going to play this game more of like, is this going to fully accurately predict or simulate what life was like, back in this certain time period, or even in the future. So, kind of different, in terms of, like, simulations, of course, and living in one and creating, like one with, like I said, AI that is constantly learning and stuff like that. But so yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson goes in on like that as like our simulation's progress. Eventually we'll have like a simulation that builds its own simulator, and that simulation from the simulator builds another simulation, like I said, eventually leading to Simception if we're not already in it. And while it's a great theory, and he says he doesn't have an argument against the Simception theory, as far as us being in one or like trying to create one, which is like, bro, we're not even trying to create one now. So I don't know what you're talking about with that. But pretty much, like if you look, like everyone's a critic, and my critique against this theory, or his personal theory, that we're going to be in Simception, and it's it's no matter what, and it's going to be impossible to tell in the next 100 years what's a simulation, what's not, with virtual reality and stuff like that. But like, we've discovered thousands upon thousands of ancient relics, seen and discovered societies that are thousands of years old. We have dinosaur fossils that are millions of years old, and even trees today of this earth are thousands of years old and can live for thousands more. So is that all a sim? Like, is all the science discoveries we made all part of the simulation? Gravity, harnessing electric, solar, and fossil fuel power, that's just part of the sim. All wars, that's just what some simulation company or group on planet Meatmorp or whatever thought. You know, somebody in their dev team are the reason, you know, I can think and talk and I'm even existing, and everyone else plus the galaxy and the expanding universe, like, they're the reason for like, there's so much detail, like I said, in this world where we've created weapons that can wipe out entire countries by splitting atoms. Like, the CIA, FBI, US government, China, Russia might have some futuristic tech and weapons that might be declassified one day, but as far as I know today, even if you combined the greatest computer and science minds, it would take them decades, if not hundreds of years, to create a simulation that resembled the reality and universe we're all experiencing. The computing power it would take to pull off something like that is theoretical. We don't have anything close to that today. It's like I said, it's like going to another planet, or going to another universe. Creating one, it would be just as hard, you know, if not harder, I would say, you know. So, you know, I don't see it happening in my lifetime, if it does at all, you know. I personally, where we're at right now, I don't see how we would even be going towards that, you know. If we do live in a simulation, I hope I respawn into something dope. If we don't, reincarnation would be cool too. I don't know if we're in like a crazy high-tech game or if a magic man in the sky created everything. I personally believe we're probably the offspring of Martians that fucked up their planet so bad they came here and started fucking shit up too. That's why we're here where we are today. I have zero evidence to support that theory. It's kind of just a stab in the dark. It's better than being atheist or agnostic, I guess. No, I'm just playing. Them is just jokes. I support all beliefs over here. Atheist, agnostic. Hell, shout out all the polytheists and Wiccans too, you know. But hope y'all enjoyed this long-ass video. If you liked it, ring the damn bell. Stay tuned and all that, because I got more hot content dropping soon. Be safe out there, y'all. Don't get smoked. I'm out. Peace.